All right, all right, all right. Welcome to another episode of the Christ Code. This is your host, Xander Sage. And today we have a wonderful episode on the power of the heart, on how important it is to purify the heart to create a life of more love, of more joy, and of more peace. So if that's something you're looking for in your life, look no further than the heart. And today we're going to tell you exactly how to do that. We're going to dive into a key teaching from Yeshua, from Jesus Christ, in the book of Matthew. And we're going to go into that teaching briefly, and then I'll dive deeper into the ramifications of Jesus' teaching and how that shows up into our life today, how it applies to a life in the year 2026. So thank you so much for joining. The reading is going to be from the book of Matthew, chapter 15, verses 16 through 20. That's Matthew chapter 15, verses 16 through 20. And first Peter asks that Jesus explain a prior parable to us. And he starts off, "Do you still lack understanding?" he asked. "Don't you realize that whatever goes into the mouth passes into the stomach and is eliminated? But what comes out of the mouth comes from the heart, and this defiles a person. For from the heart come evil thoughts, murders, adulteries, sexual immoralities, thefts, false testimonies, and slander. These are the things that defile a person, but eating with unwashed hands does not defile a person." Amen, the word of the Lord. So first of all, let's just set within the story of what's actually happening and why Jesus is talking about the heart versus eating with unclean hands. Because the Pharisees are upset with the disciples for eating without having washed their hands. And they're talking to Jesus and they're like, why are you allowing this? This is against the law. This is against the law of Torah that outlines the specific behaviors that are required in order to be good in God's eyes, according to the Pharisees. Jesus, pushes away from this. His teaching was never right and wrong behavior based on some ideas of man around what is morally correct or what is morally good. Jesus was concerned with awakening the heart. He was concerned with the truth that flows from the heart in finding more love, more joy, and more peace through the heart. So the core of his teaching always comes back to that. And oftentimes it's about the good things that come from this purification of the heart. Oftentimes it's about how loving thy neighbor is so important, or the gifts of the kingdom of heaven, really the gifts of awakening the heart. But in this passage, he lays out the other side. He looks at really the consequences if we don't do that. And they're pretty severe, right? Adultery, slander, murder, sexual immoralities. What Jesus is saying is all of these things actually arise up from the heart. They're not an indication that the person committing these crimes, these injustices, is inherently bad at their core. What is it? It's an indication that their heart has an impurity in it. It has an impurity. And what does that actually mean? It means that there has been something in their life, some traumatic experience that has occurred that has been unprocessed in the heart and has manifested into an energetic of guilt, of shame, of self-hatred, anger, fear, likely some combination of the above. And it's created this pit of darkness that results in confusion in the mind and results in behavior that arises up from that pain within the heart. This is why they say hurt people hurt people. So it's easy to judge somebody who's doing something that we can see that's so clearly out of alignment with truth, out of alignment with living a life of harmony and fulfillment and kindness and love. And to think that, they're so bad, they're so wrong. But if we bring in compassion, we can see that, in fact, there's a pain within their heart that they haven't felt safe enough to feel and to see and to release. And that's why they're behaving in the way they are. And this can go for the extreme cases, and Jesus points out the extreme cases here, the adultery, the slander, the sexual immoralities, because it really makes it clear just how important this purification of the heart is. But it's also for smaller things. People who are, procrastinating a lot, people who are frequently late. These behaviors that are out of alignment with true harmony with life are usually driven by a fear from an unprocessed mini trauma, so to speak, where they're not feeling safe in some way to live life any differently. So they live the way they know how. And it's easy to blame, it's easy to judge, it's easy to criticize, but it's so much more important to bring compassion and to see the goodness in people, the inherent goodness in their heart, and to give them a chance to show that through your love, through your compassion, and through your kindness. And the same goes through yourself. So if there's something in your life that you are unhappy with that's arising for you in your results in your life or in your behavior, first bringing compassion to the self, bringing love to the self, and recognizing that this is not just coming from your mind. This is not just like some ingrained behavior pattern that a lot of personal developments, it's like, oh, this is just a habit. The habit originates from the heart and then it gets ingrained over time. But the core energetic imbalance and the emotional imbalance starts in the heart. There's some unseen feelings there, most likely, that need to be processed. There might be an experience, a memory, a set of experiences, in fact. This all needs to be seen and felt and witnessed. And once it's felt, and once that energy is able to transmute, and there's an action taken to rectify whatever that part of you is seeking, then there's a natural clearing of the stagnant energy, and joy comes in, peace comes in, love comes in, compassion comes in. So being with the heart, allowing the heart to purify, is how you reach this life of fulfillment that you're seeking. And the purification of the heart, as you know, comes through meditation on the heart. Being with our hearts every single day, sitting in stillness and listening, coming to them with reverence and allowing them to speak to us. And over time, as more safety is developed there, the whispers of the heart get louder, and we're given awareness of what are the things that are really holding us back. What are the mindsets? What are the memories? What are the emotional patterns? And with that awareness, there's a natural shift that happens, and we can break out of the old patterns and establish new ones that are rooted in a life of harmony, of love, of peace, and of joy. So thank you so much for listening today. Thank you for your time and your presence. I'm wishing you lots of love in your life, lots of peace, and lots of joy. You have a wonderful day. I'll see you on the next one. Ciao, ciao.